Hi everyone, happy Friday. We're still waiting on some people to join, and Sat will be joining in about 10 minutes. Hope everyone's having a nice week so far.
TGIF!
Yes.
How's everyone doing? It's the 5th day of the lecture. Are you all trying to have dinner after this class? Okay. So I think before the start of the lecture, maybe I can introduce something about Accelerate and our course is offering to you guys, just to show and to have a look. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, can everyone hear me? Yeah. Okay, so hello everyone, my name is Antonia, and I am the admission manager in Accelerate. And I'm very happy to be here today because it's been 5th day of your data challenge and 2 days left. So 1 day for your assignment and then 1 day you can submit your challenge so that you can get a certificate afterwards as well. And now I'm going to present to you how to become a global tech talent after this 7-day data challenge. Okay, so let's give a big thank you for yourself, because it's not an easy job. Even for myself, I needed to delay my dinner at nighttime and just have to commit it and learn a lot during the whole journey. And we also thank Seth and Olio during these field days. They also sacrificed their dinner time to teach you guys. Big thank you. Okay, so then I will talk about a little bit about how Accelerate was founded. So we were founded actually in 2017, so it's been 5 years of teaching from us. And our vision is to bridge the tech talent gap in Hong Kong. And we've got 9,500 graduates from now, and also we have 500 plus hiring partners. Our most selling courses are actually the 4 months full-time boot camps, which you guys will be maybe knowing more information also from Seth later on. And we have various part-time courses. We have Accelerate Live and job boards as well. So this is actually a very intense 4 months to get yourself job ready from zero experience. Okay, so what's boot camp? Boot camp is actually a short-term intense training session designed to prepare yourself into the reality of development. So how to be actually practical, what is the work experience that want you to have? That's what we are here to offer. And we are also 2021 Best Data Science Bootcamp. If you search on SwitchUp, which is a platform that talks to you about how bootcamps globally works. Okay, so for the data science and machine learning course, which is most relatable to what you're learning right now, so we have 2 different courses. One is the full-time bootcamp that we just talked about. So it will be a 16 weeks. It's a career-changing purpose. It's now offering 29,999. Before it was 49,999. And for the 6 weeks part-time upskilling, we will have 9,750 for this offer. And this is all of them needed to be doing remotely right now. And if you're thinking about just upskill for a little bit of your career, then you can think about doing the 6 weeks ones. But if you're aiming for career change, it is actually now the best time to do it. Because we are now offering the new price, 29,999 for the remote flex. And also, for the course will start at April 4th and until August 16th. And the great news is that you can actually have a free upgrade from remote learning mode to hybrid flex when our center reopens. So we don't know when the COVID will be better, but we will see if, let's say, the government restriction gets better, then we can allow people who are already vaccinated fully to be in our campus and actually to do group projects or connect with our instructors in person. And then another thing is that we also offer career support to those students that apply today until April 30th. So if you are aiming at career change, then it is the best time to jump to our bootcamp right now. And we changed our lecture time into lunch hour. So it's like what you're learning right now, lunch or dinner time. We will do the lecture during that time. And then for the other times, you can do your assignments or you can do some exercise presentations. And this will not affect mostly for us because the thing is that the COVID hits us so strongly. So for a lot of Hong Kong people, some lost their jobs and some even wanted to keep working. So this is the full-time bootcamp plan that we wanted to show you to be like, hey, you don't need to quit your job right now. You can actually learn with us just during the lunchtime. But maybe you need to tell your company because the lunch lecture hour will be 1.5 to 2 hours time. So I can see it will be around 12:30 to 2 p.m. around this time. So I will share more details with you in the mails later. And please reach out to us. And then we also wanted to share like where did our graduates went to right after their graduation. So these are the companies. You can see Microsoft, you can see Emacs, IBM. So these are not just dreams. It's actually happening, and it's 91% of our students actually just went to all these companies right after our graduation in 28 days. And most, last but not least, is very important thing to mention as well, because we will start to donate 3% of our income from the tuition fees that will go to UNICEF. So this is a campaign where we will help the Ukrainian children for their crisis right now, because everyone knows how crazy the world goes now, and we just wanted to help. And because Accelerate also supports humanity as a general, because we are a global citizen. So become a global talent with us now. You can see that we have 91% job placement success. We have cross-cohort learning, which means that you might get to learn with web development students or even UX students. And then it is for highly active global professionals too. So if you want to join us, learn remotely and work remotely, please don't hesitate to take your phone out now. And you can scan the QR code. And this is the WhatsApp that you can reach out to another colleague of us, Aka, to learn more about our course offering. And also, if you wanted to do that, you can also email us. And I can see that Seth is here already. Hello. I already helped them to introduce a little bit about Accelerate. I think for now, I'll pass the time to Seth to tell you a little bit more later during the break or something. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Sorry guys, I was late. Let me just start sharing my screen. So, great, how is everybody? Everybody is good? So, for the past couple of days, I was not available for Tableau workshop, so sorry for that. But I hope Alio was there to help you out. Now, as potentially this is the last class and one of the most important classes, so I have jumped in so that we can have some understanding on our final dashboard creation. So far, whatever you have learned so far in Tableau, today we are going to apply those learnings and we will be creating a dashboard. That's the whole agenda for today's class. Okay, people are still joining in. Okay, so everybody is clear with the agenda of today. We are going to talk about a small use case, a small case study, and after understanding the case study, we will be trying to create a dashboard after. Now, I cannot create a dashboard from scratch till the end. I'm not going to show you the entire dashboard creation because the entire dashboard creation takes at least 3 to 4 days to finish. Even if you are in very hurry, at least 4 to 5 hours is required. So I'll not be able to show you the entire creation of the dashboard, but definitely whatever I say, it will be beneficial for you and you can yourself start creating a dashboard. So before creating a dashboard, we will be talking about today's case study. Now today's case study is all about telco churn, telco retention. Now why I will be talking about the case study? Because this is a normal general thing which people do is they quickly start working on dashboard, they start working on machine learning models, they start working on data analysis projects without knowing the project background. This is my personal experience. At least 60-70% of the people whom I interview, they are not able to answer why they are solving this problem. They just write in their resumes, oh, I have done this, I have done that, I have done this. They will be able to answer the technicalities of it, but they don't know why are they solving the problem, which is one of the most important topics, right? So definitely we will be creating some dashboards using this case study, but before that we'll be talking about what this case study is all about. Okay, so I'm going to talk about a case study which is called as customer churn. Customer churn. What do you mean by customer? We all know what is customer. Now churn is basically, what is the meaning of churn? When somebody leaves an organization or leaves something and joins something else. One quick example is, let's say you are currently using CMHK mobile SIMs. Now tomorrow, if CSL gives you a good offer or 3 Mobile gives you a good offer, many people will leave CMHK and they will jump into this particular network, right? Or else, if you don't like this network, maybe while you travel, some areas CMHK network is not good. Probably people will leave and join another company. Why people switch companies? Let's say today you are working in HSBC, tomorrow you get a good job in Standard Chartered, they are giving you 30% hike, you will definitely leave the company, right? There is no second thoughts about it. Even if you think, no, I'm loyal to my company, you are wrong. I know if people get 30% hike, they will immediately switch. So this is a scenario of churning. Churning is a very generic problem which is applicable in all the industries, be it telecom, be it banking. Today you are a customer of Standard Chartered, tomorrow HSBC gives you a good offer. They give you, hey, why don't you create an HSBC account for fixed deposit? You can get 2% interest rate or 5% interest rate. Definitely people will leave and join, HSBC. So that customer who leaves company A and joins company B is basically a loss to company A, right? So if you are joining company A as a data analyst or a business analyst or as a data scientist, your main focus is to identify why the people are leaving the company and what are the potential characteristics of the people who are leaving the company, right? Now let's try to relate this use case with respect to gaming. I know many people in Hong Kong are into gaming, right? They play mobile games, they play computer games and all these things. Churning is also a very good scenario in terms of gaming. How churning is related to gaming. I'll give you a small example. Now, I'll name myself A. A installs an application. The application name is X. So A installs this application. This is a gaming application. Okay. Now he plays a game for 5 days. In 5 days, he achieved a level 110. Now he's bored because this game is too easy. 5 days, 110 levels. This is too easy. I don't like it. So what A does is he gets pissed off, he uninstalls that. And then he installs something else and he starts playing this. Another scenario is Mr. A installs X. He plays a game, maybe he reaches a level, let's say level 60. From the past 15 days, he's trying to reach 61, but he's not able to. He gets pissed off. This game is too difficult. Something is wrong with this game. He churns. So, as a data analyst, as a business analyst, or in short, in general, as an analyst, our main focus is to identify who are the potential churners and what are the type of churners. Like, why are they leaving? Are they leaving because of service? Are they leaving because of price? Are they leaving because of anything else? That is the main thing which we need to understand. Based on that, we can give them some offers, right? Now, why I'm talking about all these things in a class in a Tableau class? Because ultimately, Tableau is a data visualization tool, right? So it comes somewhere between your data analysis team and your data science team. Once data analysts analyze the data, they create a dashboard, right? Tableau dashboard or a Power BI dashboard to showcase the insights to the customers or to your higher management that, hey, you know what? These are the people who are leaving the companies. Mostly people who are leaving the companies are greater than 60 years of age, people who are staying in Kowloon, and people who are male. This is what my data is telling. That's what the data analysis has been done and the data analysis outputs are this. So you are going to showcase all these outputs in Tableau. You are going to create a beautiful visualization and then showcase to your manager. After your manager likes it, or your customer likes it, or your sales team likes it, oh, this is what it is, what's next? Your manager will immediately ask you what's next. Because the moment he likes the dashboard, he's happy with it. Now he's concerned about, he thinks that my task so far is accomplished. That means analysis was required, the team has done the analysis, dashboard is ready. But now what? He will be greedy, he'll start asking what's next. And that's where your data science team fits in that, oh, what we can do now is, we already know the characteristics of these people, we can probably learn all these characteristics and then create an AI model out of it. And then they create an AI model. This is the entire flow. Data analysis and then some sort of visualization, Tableau Power BI, and then output goes into the data science team. They create an AI model, and then that AI model basically predicts whether a new set of customers are going to be leaving the company or not. Simple. That is the whole telecom in general churn scenario. Now, in this particular today, basically we'll be talking about a special use case related to telco churn. Now, we'll not be able to show each and every slide, but whatever is required for this session, I will be showing you that. Now, this is a very overall idea, overall agenda of today. 30 minutes, I'll just do some theoretical chat, and then next 40 minutes, 45 minutes, I'll try to create a dashboard. We will be covering all these things. What are the overview of churn in a telecom scenario? Why are we using data science? What data science approach do we need to build? And after these insights are done, we will directly jump into the Tableau part and we'll start creating some dashboards. Okay. So before getting into anything, try to understand this thing. Your next goal. I know that people who have joined this 7-day program, this is not your ultimate end of the world, right? It's just the beginning. You have just started learning few things. Within 5 days, nobody can become master in anything. So at least you know the basics of Tableau right now. Your ultimate goal is to either become a business analyst or a data analyst or a data scientist or move into machine learning. Okay, and each one of them has specific time period. Data analysis, you can just set your target to be 2 months or 3 months. Business analysis will be same. Data science will be a little bit more, 4 to 5 months. So if you aim, then you can achieve your goals, right? So doesn't really matter what is your end goal. What matters is whenever you start working on a project, make sure you do your research on the background problem. What is the problem you're trying to solve? Because this is the most important thing. If you go to interviews, people will ask, now what are you solving? If you are failing in that part, your interview is done and dusted. Next 30 minutes will be just some time pass questions which the interviewer will ask, and he has already thought in mind he will reject you. So the first thing is understanding the business problems. So let's say we are solving this telecom churn problem. Let's try to understand what exactly the problem is. Okay. Till now, you might think that these slides are going to be boring. It's a simple scenario of the customers who are leaving or not leaving, right? What else can I explain? Now let's just jump in and you will see that there will be a lot of learnings in this particular slide. The background is very clear, right? Operators are losing share in today's competitive market. Industry and external look is tougher telecom environment, smarter and more demanding customers, tremendous growth potential, and key questions that clients ask around churn. And in this world, This is 2022, not like 2000 or 2005, where people used to be so, at least back 10 years back, I know there are many people who used to stick to a company, even not in the telecom domain as well, in the industrial domain as well. People used to work in IT or in a specific company for a longer period of time. Now, people are more keen to jump because they are more, they are hungry, they need more. So, we need to understand what are the different scenarios of churning. Now, these are the different subscriber churn scenarios. A candidate leaving a company A and joining company B is a special case of churning. Even if the candidate is still with company A, there could be many other scenarios of churning as well. One type of churning is product churning. How many of you know about prepaid? Prepaid, postpaid. I think in Hong Kong, most of the people are using postpaid, right? Like postpaid basically means you use and then at the end of the month you will get a bill. Prepaid is something like you do a recharge and then your 30 days will be activated, then you can do your usage, right? Moving from postpaid to prepaid is also a type of churn. Why? Just imagine this way that I know that there are some people who are joining both Python and Tableau Plus, so for them it is a repetitive session, but I'll try to wind this up in next 5-10 minutes, not more than that. Now just imagine a customer who is a postpaid customer. His pack, his monthly bill is 999. Just imagine. Okay. Now if he is moving to prepaid, why this scenario is called as churn? Because when you move to prepaid, there is an uncertainty in the cost. Some month you probably can recharge 100. Some months you can recharge 200. Some months you probably recharge 300 or 50. Now, today you are working from home, you already have Wi-Fi, you are not going outside anywhere. Why do you need to recharge? Maybe you are not recharging. So when you are moving from postpaid to prepaid, that is also a type of churn. Because here, at least the company was getting an assured bill of $1,000, right? So over a period of 12 months, at least $12,000 the company was making from that particular customer. Now, there is no guarantee, right? Another churn is usage churn. Maybe right now you are doing a proper usage, you are active, you are very much active, and suddenly your usage decreases. Now, let's say your usage is like this and it keeps decreasing. When it keeps decreasing, automatically companies will think that probably there will be a time where this customer might stop using this because the usage has decreased, right? Service churn. Let's say you are using $99 plan and you have also taken some ringtones, you have taken some internet package, you have taken some international package for UK. Now, slowly, 1 month you have not taken the UK package. Another month you stop taking the Wi-Fi. So it's like you are cutting down on your subscriptions. That could also be a type of churn. And another one is tariff plan churn. Today you are on a $99 plan. Tomorrow you are moving to a $50 plan. So it's a straight 50% reduction in the money, right? So these are all different types of churning scenarios, and these type of churns are different in different industries. Like if you are coming from an HR industry, now you need to understand why people are churning. What are the major reasons for people churning? If you are able to predict that these are the 10 people who probably will churn, you can directly give them some hike or some sort of offer or maybe some benefits so that they will be happy and they will be retained. They will not look out for another opportunity, right? So any industry you pick, there will be different scenarios for churning. So understanding these problems are very important. It helps you understand the problem properly and then take your next steps. Similarly, this is a very good slide which will give us a lot of insights. Okay, this is nothing but this is a slide which talks about the decision cycle of a subscriber. Now, what is the decision cycle of a subscriber? Let's try to go through each scenario. Okay, let me keep the clock in front of me as well because I need to finish everything today. We just have 1 hour left. So it all starts with I'm a mobile customer, right? Now there are two scenarios. One is I haven't thought about churning. Let's say somebody like me. I'm really happy with CMHK. I haven't thought about churning. Why? Because of multiple reasons. Now the first reason is because it's too complex, or I don't have the time, or it's not worth it. So even if you're unhappy with the company, you think that you don't want to churn because the process is too complex. Who will go to the shops, do portability and all those things? Too much of efforts. This is typical me. I am really lazy. I'm okay to spend more rather than going to the offices to do the portability. Now the second category of people is I haven't thought about churning because my operator is the best. Now my father belongs to this category. Like I don't know in Hong Kong, but in India there is a company called as BSNL, which basically started. I think it's even older than 50, 60 years. I don't know how old it is. It's one of the oldest companies and it is one of the government companies. So they are still on 3G. They are not upgrading themselves. My father is still using BSNL because he's a die-hard customer. So he's somebody who doesn't want to churn. Those kind of customers are risk-free. Whatever happens, even if World War III happens, they will not leave you. So these kind of customers are like called as unconditionally loyal. First category is inert subscriber. I am an inert subscriber. Another customer who has thought about churning, but he is locked in a contract. Oops. Now this is a typical Hong Kong scenario. In Hong Kong, mostly broadband services or mobile services, they come with contracts. Not in India. In India, we don't have contracts. If we have contracts, people will stop using it. But here in Hong Kong, you take any broadband, you take anything, there will be contracts. 24 months contract, 36 month contract, something like that. So even if you think about churning, like right now, I'm using two Wi-Fi's at my house. One is for my studying, like for my teaching, and one is for my wife's keep of streaming. She uses iCable and I use HKBN. Now iCable sucks. I mean, no hard feelings if somebody is from iCable, but iCable's network is really bad. But I'm locked in a contract. I still have 15, 16 months to go. I cannot leave the company. So these kind of customers fall in this category. They are locked in subscribers. They cannot go. Okay. And these are the other scenarios which are going to be the first focus for the company. The customer has thought about churning. That means these are the customers who are potentially going to churn. They don't have any contract, but somehow they have decided to stay. These are conditional loyals. Okay, that means now today they are loyal, tomorrow they might not be. So we don't know. Another type of customer is, I have decided to go because I found a better offer. Now you are working in X company, tomorrow you join another company, then another company offers you something, you join that. These people are conditional churners. Conditional churners. They get better offers, they leave. Because my needs have changed. These are lifestyle migrators, never happy customers. They always have some complaints. Why this, why that, why not this, why not that? This is really good, this is really bad. You know, they are not doing anything, they are not doing this. Always keep on complaining. Lifestyle migrators. And the last one is because I'm not satisfied. Now this satisfaction level is also of different types. Your satisfaction level could be because of a real reason as well. Let's say right now CMHK network sucks in Kum Chum. So if a customer is really pissed off, they probably will churn, and those are unsatisfied churners. So a company should first focus on this category, first priority, and then this category. These are anyways not required because these are locked customers, these are unconditionally loyal, and these are inner customers. Okay, enough of the theoretical part. We'll jump into the next one. So there are four churn segments. One is conditionally loyal, one is conditional churner, lifestyle migrators, and unsatisfied customers. Okay. Now comes the proactive approach to managing churn as data scientists. That is, it's not required for the time being. This is an important slide where I will be explaining high-level overview of a data science-led program. So basically, data science is a combination of data science and analytics. Okay, so I don't want to write high-level overview of data analytics and data science-led program. So I have just written data science. People who get into this domain, they know that data science is nothing but data science and analytics. So the first thing is capture and analyze. What is capture and analyze? Capture and analyze means collecting data. So the first step as a business analyst or as a data analyst when you start working on a project is going to be capturing data. Let's say for this example, customer churn prediction. You want to analyze the customer data, right? So customer data could be multiple. It could be, I'll probably write it in notepad. Customer data could be multiple. It could be customer personal information like age, gender, location, building name, HKID, etc. etc. Next type of information will be customer usage information. Okay, let's say what is the customer bandwidth, what is the night usage, what is the day usage, what is the afternoon usage, what is the total number of calls, total calls, night calls, international calls. All these things would come under this one. Another type of information will be customer service related information. That means service related. What is service related? SR is basically how many times the customer has called the customer care. Is he called because of multiple complaints or normal calls? All this kind of information. Apart from that, companies also run a lot of feedbacks. Not feedbacks, what do you say? Yes, I mean, after every program, we send a feedback form to the customers, right? How was this? How was that? So people give feedbacks, right? So something like that. Customer feedback. Okay. Customer feedback related information. Now, how many customers? Because from feedback, you will get to know whether customers are liking your services or not, right? So customer feedback information. So all this information we basically collect, and after collecting, what we do is we combine this data. We combine and then finally create our structured data. And this is the task of a data analyst. So this is nothing but capturing and analyzing. Let me just close the notepad. Okay, this is nothing but capturing and analyzing. You can see acquisition data, tariff usage data, customer level data, recharge data, monthly snapshot. All are combined together, aggregated, cleaned and transformed, and then ready to use the data. Okay, after your data is ready, let's say your data is now structured data. Then comes your analysis and the report building. Report and predict is basically combination of the report creation part plus the prediction part. So here we will be analyzing, we will be doing EDA plus we will be doing the report generation, plus the AI model. Everything is basically mentioned in this step. And then engage and act. What does this mean? Ultimately, after your AI model has been created, you have 1,000 or 10,000 customers. Your AI model has predicted that these are the 2,000 customers who are likely to churn. Then what? Then what? Then you need to act. Then you need to talk to your sales team. Hey, these are the 2,000 customers who are probably churning. Then sales team, they do their own analysis and they come back with some offers. Let's give them some offers, $50 offer for next 3 months. And with that offer, if you are able to retain some of the customers, that's going to be a win-win situation for your data science team. Okay. And there are so many things which happens here. Again, this is a very short class to explain all these things. There is something called as cost analysis, and there is something called as lifetime customer valuation. So all these things we analyze. Lifetime customer valuation basically means out of these 2,000 customers, who are those customers who are with the company from a longer period of time. Then we have to calculate their lifetime valuation. How much money they have contributed to the company. How much cost analysis, all these things are required, and then we recommend them some products or some sort of offers. This is the entire case. So now I'll not talk about other slides. It's more of more of data science part. I will quickly jump into the data set. Where is my data set? And using this data set, we will be creating a small dashboard. Okay, I wanted to put this data into a database, and from there I wanted to use Tableau. But as you don't have database in your local systems, you will not be able to do it. So let's just use a flat file. So this is the file that I'm going to use. I will pass on this file after today's class. So nothing to worry about. This is my data. Customer, ID, gender, senior citizen, partner, dependent, tenure, all these are mine. Okay, let's just give 1 second. My Excel has died. Okay, it is a regular thing, don't worry, it will be ready in 1 or 2 seconds. Okay, done. Whenever I do Control B, basically whenever I do the bold thing, it hangs. I don't know why. So these are the different features that are available in this particular file, right? And what is this column? This column is basically whether the customer has left or not left. How many customers? No means this customer is active. Yes means this customer has gone. So in order to analyze a data, the first priority should always be these customers, people who have left. Why? Because our task is to analyze and find insights from the people who have left. Once we do that, once we know the characteristics, then our next step will be to identify those customers who are a part of the active list and who are very similar to these characteristics. You're getting my point, right? First task is to analyze the characteristics of people who have left the company. Second step is we already analyzed, now we have all the report done. Second step is we already have customers who are active. And then what we need to do, we need to check who are those active customers that are very near to these customers. Those are going to be your potential churners. Okay, that's our whole idea. This is the entire use case. Okay, now I will be using this use case to create a Tableau dashboard. So people who have attended the Python program, they might have already known about the EDA and all those things. So EDA we will not be covering in Tableau because this is a pure Tableau class. EDA is a very separate concept. So people who have taken both the 7-day challenge will be a little bit benefited, but it's okay. So now we will be using this file to create our Tableau dashboard. So I am not having Tableau public. I have Tableau Desktop Professional Edition. So, but yeah, you can also do the same thing in your Tableau public as well. Okay. At the end of this class, I will also show you a very beautiful dashboard that we created for our internal Accelerate team. I will show you that dashboard as well. But right now, let's try to jump into our case. Else we will be diverted from our goal. So here, first step is, I hope everybody knows about all these things. This is where you connect to your Tableau server. Now, what is Tableau server? Tomorrow, if you join a company and start working on Tableau, maybe, then your company might already be having a Tableau Professional Edition. They will also be having Tableau server. So you can click on this Tableau server, connect to your server, and then start working on your dashboards. So when you save your dashboards will not be saved in your local machine. It will be saved in your Tableau servers. That's the whole idea about Tableau servers. Let's say you are working on a flat file. That means your data is in your local machine. In that case, what you can do is you can simply use this option to a file. So there are options like Excel, text, JSON, blah, blah, blah. So many options are there. If you want to see the options, you can click on more. Okay. Why it is okay? I think here to a server. You can see so many options are there. So to a file basically has these many options: Excel, text, and all these things. If you go to more, you can also select a different type of file. But if you are working with a different server, these are the servers that are available in Tableau, which basically means that it doesn't matter which database your data is stored. All the databases are available in Tableau. Okay. Okay. So all these databases are available. So because in industries there are multiple companies and multiple companies uses multiple databases. So if we are moving into the direction of data analytics, data science, if you learn one of these databases, that is the generic one, which is SQL, that is enough. We don't have to learn each and every database. That's not mandatory. Okay. So don't panic by seeing all these options. So whenever you join a company, if your company uses Cognito, they will be giving you a training on Cognito. If the company uses Alibaba, they will be giving you a training on Alibaba. And it's not rocket science. You can also quickly search on Google how to connect Alibaba data lake to your Tableau. There will be blogs. You will easily follow it and learn and understand. You don't have to explicitly learn each one of them. Okay, let's not get into all these basics. So we will quickly jump into the text file. I will load my Teleco churn data. I load it. So this is my Tableau. Okay. Now, okay, this is my Tableau. Now in Tableau, I hope Oliver has already told you that there are three concepts. One is sheet, one is not sheet, dashboard, and story. Okay, I am not a big fan of story. I never use stories, but stories is something which basically, I mean, story is a story. I cannot explain it in a better way. So I prefer personally dashboards. Okay, even most of the companies where I have worked on dashboards, not on stories. But stories is also good. It's very similar to dashboard. In a single page, you can navigate between multiple stories and check what are the different things. But I personally prefer dashboards. Okay. Now, what is a sheet? Sheet is something where you create a visualization. Now, just imagine this. Just imagine this is your dashboard. So you have to create multiple sheets first. Let's say this is your sheet, this is your sheet, this is your sheet, this is your sheet. So you create 6 sheets and then add it to your dashboard. That's how Tableau works. Now we will be learning how to create sheets and we will also be learning how to create dashboards. Okay. Now first sheet. When I am going to sheet, you can see that everybody knows about all these things. What happens here is you can see there is a line here, right? Everybody sees there is a line. Anything above the line is basically a dimension. Anything below a line is basically a measure. What is a measure? In simple terms, measure is a quantitative value or a numerical value. Dimension is a qualitative value or a categorical value. Okay, simple concept. So in case you are using multiple files, so in this area, you will see multiple tables. You will see table 1 and then you will see all its dimensions, then all its measures. Then table 2, all dimensions and all measures. Like this you will be seeing. Okay, so moving on to the first diagram. Let's create our first diagram and then we'll go for a short break and then we'll come in. So what I have done is I'm not explaining you each and everything. All this is drag and drop. Trust me, if you spend 2-3 hours time in Tableau, do yourself, practice yourself, you will get to know. So here I have used gender in a column and what I have done is I have also used gender in a rows, right? So I have columns and I have rows. Now in my rows, I want gender to show its count value. So what I can do is click on this, go to measure, click on count. Done. Now if you want to change the style, you can go to this, change it to a pie chart. Done. Let's say I want to make it a little bit bigger. Okay. So I will go to this and click on entire view. I will also add gender to label. And then instead of this, I will do count. Okay. Now this is my one of my visualization. I will name it as, let me hide this, it's irritating. I will name it as gender distribution. Okay. We'll make it centralized. Gender distribution. My first sheet is done. Gender distribution. Okay. Let's say we will do some other sheets on something else. Let's say contract. Simple. Start with simple things. And then slowly you jump into critical things. Now this is what is your contract. Right. I will only tell you the critical things. Okay. Now let's say you want to change it to a horizontal graph. Press Ctrl W. Shortcut. Ctrl W. Okay. Simple. Again Ctrl W, you will revert it back. Ctrl W horizontal. Ctrl W vertical. Right. Now if you want to give it a full view, either you drag it like this or you change it to entire view. Okay. Bar graphs, I don't like to see as an entire view, so this is more than enough for me. Okay. Now let's say first of all I will change my sheet name, contract type, and then I will also make it centralized. Click apply. Okay. Okay. Now what I will do is I will try to add some color to the contract. So I'm dragging contract to color. See, Tableau is nothing but a drag and drop tool. Okay. Sometimes you also need a little bit of coding, but without coding also you can sustain. At least you can get started with it. So here, let's say you want to do label, you want to do this. Let's say we will do a label. Okay, we will do color and then change it to label. Now you can see The label is also visible. Let's say you also want to add color. See, it's not a scripted class or something. I'm just randomly doing something. I'm not prepared for this class. So randomly I'm doing something. Okay. Now you can see that I have different colors and I also have my numbers written on top of it. Numbers are basically labeled. Okay. Here you can see label is there. Let's say I will now change it to count. Now you can see when I'm changing it to count, the maximum value is highlighted, others are not. Okay, something like that. Let's say you want to go to the label and change it. You can also go to the label and change it. Here, as a label, I am using count of contract. I haven't created this, like I haven't manually written this code, but this is a code that is auto-generated in Tableau. So either, let me just cancel it out. You can see when I cancelled it, it is gone, right? So either you add it here, or else you can also create a new field and name it as, let's say, contract count, and name it as count of contract. Click on OK. Where is that count of contract? Count of contract, and then change it to label. You can see. So you can also create your own columns. What I have done is I have just created a new column called as contract count. What is the value of this? Now this tool is basically called as DAX tool. Okay. Now this is a DAX function. I have just used the count function and I have passed contract. But this is not required. I have just showed you. Okay. Even if you delete this, I don't want to use this column. You can simply use the existing columns, change it to count. That also will work. And here change it to label. Done. Okay. So another sheet is also ready. Contract type. Now let's say gender distribution is gone, contract type is gone. Let's try to create another sheet based on do we have age? We have tenure, right? Let's do tenure. So tenure and tenure. Okay. In the rows, I want tenure as a discrete object dimension. Okay. Now this is my tenure. So I'll just change it a little bit to an attribute like sum of tenure. Rows, why it is coming like this? Okay, then look at this. Okay, this is my tenure. So simply what I have done is I have created a simple bar chart where in my x-axis I have tenure and in my y-axis I have the sum of tenure. Okay. So this is a simple graph. Now let's just mark it as tenure. So now we have created three simple charts. Using three simple charts, we will be creating a dashboard. Okay. Now I'll click on this dashboard. This is the dashboard. Now Tableau, the good thing about Tableau is that it also gives you layout. Okay. In the layout, you can choose your width of your dashboard and height of your dashboard. By default, it also gives you multiple dashboards. Let's say your main focus is to create a desktop browser. Then you can click on desktop browser or else generate desktop. All these options are also available. Device preview is also available. You can change your, let's say you create a dashboard and then click on tablet. You can also see how your dashboard looks like on tablet. All these things are good features of Tableau as compared to PowerPoint. Now, we'll quickly start with the dashboard. So I will start with the home page. Okay. In my home page, I always like to, whenever I create a dashboard, I'm trying to watch the recordings from day 2, but it doesn't work when I input the passcode. Danny, can you please address this? Danny is not here. You can do one thing. I have pinged your email address. Can you send an email to this? So the logic is that the videos are only available for 2 or 3 days. That's the maximum availability for videos. So if we are on day 5, you are on day 2, probably the recording expires in 2 or 3 days. But as an exception, I would recommend you to give it a try. Just mail to Danny and maybe, if she is good enough, she can give you an access. Okay. So this is my idea behind creating dashboards. Whenever I create a dashboard, again, idea changes from people to people, right? Somebody else who has better UI UX experience, they will probably think in a different direction. My understanding is whenever I create a dashboard, I try to create multiple pages. Okay, my first page is always a home page. Okay, where I talk about what is all about, what is this use case all about, and then I give them some navigation links so that people can navigate to other pages. That is my idea. So we will start with my ideas. So in order to create your background image, I use Canva. Just give me a second, I will just open Canva. I hope everybody has Canva, but I just don't want to show all my designs, so I'll just show the latest ones. So again, this is one design which we have created. Of course, not from scratch. I don't have time to create from scratch, so I just copied it from web. So this is an image which can potentially be the image of my homepage. So what I will do is I will download it. Okay, so usually we create these kind of images from scratch. Let's use this image, and for the next dashboard, we will create it from scratch. Okay, so here, how to use an image. In objects, you can see multiple options are available. Horizontal, blank, navigation, all these options are available, right? Tiled and floating. Floating basically means if you click on floating and drag it, this sheet will be like a floating object. You can place it anywhere. You can place it here, here, anywhere. Okay. Make it tiled and just drag it. It will take the entire page. Now, if you want to drag another sheet, it is asking, do you want this side or this side? Or do you want this side? Or do you want somewhere else? Let's say we want this side. And this one, let's say here, 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 here. Where do you want? So it's up to you if you want to use tile or floating. Okay. So initially, we will start with a tiled one. So I will use an image as a tiled object. I'll double click on image, go to choose, click on my background, make it a center image, click on OK. Now this is my dashboard. Okay. Now, if you want to add text here, you can add it. Let's say you want to add a text as a floating object. Okay, you can add it, customer churn analysis. And then change your fonts to something else, let's say 48, and then change it to something else, and then okay, this would be an option. It's up to you if you are using Tableau or you are using your Canva. It's up to you. If you are using Canva, it's simple. You can just add it here. Customer churn analysis. Canva gives you more flexibility. Let's say you want to add some effects, you can simply add it like this, or else just make it look beautiful. We are not concerned about making it look beautiful in this class. So let's say this one, okay, and let's say like this looks better. So you can use this, or else you can use the Tableau one as well. Okay, let's say my homepage is ready. Now I will give you some buttons, right? Right now I will not add the buttons. Let us create some more dashboards. So I'll create the second dashboard where I will do my churner profile, or else all customers. Okay. So here I will again add a background image. So let's try to create a background image from scratch. Okay. We will hardly take few minutes to create a background image. Will not waste a lot of time. Let's say I'm going to give a color. Let's say this one. Okay. And what I will do is I will add some boxes here. Okay. Something like this. And I don't need sharp edges. Probably I'll just edit it. How do we edit it? Okay, let it be. You can edit it when you have time. Something like this. Let's say here 1, 2. Okay, something like this. This is going to be my background image. Okay, done. This is going to be my background image. I'll now download it, and here I will add some more boxes so that I can show the numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4. See, all these are how you visualize and how you want to showcase your numbers in your dashboard. That's it, right? It's all your creativity level. I can only help you in the Tableau part, how you can create your multiple sheets and all those things. But dashboard creation, your background image, all it is creativity level. Now I'll share it. I will download it as a PNG. Right now I don't know if it will be fitting enough for my background or not, but we will just give it a try. So I'll make it tiled, image, choose, untitled image, center image. Okay. Okay, now I'll give it a generic desktop look. Done. This is also generic desktop. This is also generic desktop. Okay. So now you know that the background has been set. We just need to place the graphs here. So graphs cannot go as a tiled object. If your image has taken the tile, if you drag this as a tile, you can see what will happen here. If I am dragging this sheet, it is asking, do you want it this side or this side? This side or this side? If you click on here, then your image becomes an object. It takes one tile and your sheet takes another tile. So we will do undo. We will use these sheets as floating objects. I'll go to floating and I will add it. Now I will try to fit in so that it fits in. I don't need all these things. Okay, let it be. We will need gender distribution. Okay, something like that. Something is odd, right? We need to make it transparent. So what you can do, right click on your sheet, go to format, go to this. Somebody is carrying some color here. Go here, worksheet, none. Now this is how your graph becomes. If you want to give a specific color based on your company's colors, if your company's colors are blue, then you can also use those shades. You can go to the original sheet, change your color here, edit colors, and let's say you want to change it to something else. Or else you want to change your female to red, male to this. Okay, something like that. Let's give a bluish color. So this one, male will be this one. Male will be female will be this, male will be this. Okay, apply. Done. Similarly, I will drag my other graphs as well. Again, right click, format, go to this, change it to none. and then you just have to set it in the boxes, and you have to change the color. You can go to this, the color is also set. Okay, if you want to hide it, you can hide it. If you want to hide this also, you can hide it. It's up to you. If you don't want the by default text of Tableau, you can also hide your titles. You can hide your titles and add a new text in your Canva as well, right? You can hide it, and now you can add the text in your Canva, again use it as an image, that will also work. Okay, so up to you. So we will do the last one, which will be tenure, like this one, and similarly right click format and then go to none, and this is how the tenure looks like. I'll just hide it. Okay, I'll hide this one as well, and hide this one as well, something like this. And here you can show all your numbers. Let's try to create some numbers. We'll create sheets here again. So in this case, what are the important numbers? How many total customers do we have? How many customers have left the company? What are the total charges? All these things you can create. Okay, so we'll create with the total customer data. Go to measure and count. Hide it. Go to size, increase the size. Okay, something like that. If you want to format this also, you can format it. Go to text. If you want to give some colors, you can give. If you want to change the font. Okay, up to you. And let's say this is customer count. Now you go to your customers, go to your sheets, and then add it here. Right click, hide title. Go to your slides. Format it because the font is a little bit bigger. Let's try to make it smaller one, and then okay, so we'll make it format. Where is that gone? Wait. It's giving a pain in the ass. Text, let's try to change it to. Okay, now it should be okay. Something like that. Okay, here also you can add a text, total customers, something like that, right? Similarly, the way you calculated total customers, you can also duplicate and create more things like total charges. Here, what you need to do is you need to add your total charges and make it sum. This is your total charges. If you want to make it average, you can make it average and then add it here. Go to your customers table and then total charges. Hide your title. So you can see this is how you create your dashboards, right? So what you understood here is how to create sheets, how to disable your background, how to create numbers. So it's all about presenting your data, right? I know this is a very ugly dashboard, but it's okay. I'll also show you a good dashboard. Now I will show you how to add navigations. So in order to add navigation, let's say this is my home page, I will be creating a navigation object as a floating object. Okay. Now here I will be asking, where do you want to navigate? I want to navigate to customers. Okay. Click on OK. Now if you do alt click, you are able to navigate to alt click, you are able to navigate to the second page. If you want to change it, okay, something like that. Background, let's give our theme. Okay, something like that. And similarly, you can also create more pages, and then you can also add navigations like this. So whenever somebody opens your dashboard, they will be able to see your home page and then multiple navigations like customer information, and then customer information, and then here they will be seeing something like churner information, people who have churned. Okay, something like this. We will also change this to this and make it okay. All right, that can change. Right, nothing. Okay. Similarly, here also, let's say we will also give it to customers because we don't have any other page. So this is how your multiple buttons looks like. This is how your home page looks like, right? Now I will also show you one more thing. Let's say you want to create the churner profile. So what we can do is we will quickly copy paste it, duplicate it, and make it churner customers or churned customers. Here these are going to be changed because this is a slide where we will be adding the churner information, right? So same gender distribution, I want to show it for the churners. So what I will do is duplicate it, gender distribution for churners. Now imagine this way that this is your entire data, right? You only want the data for people who have churned. What we need to do? We need to add a filter, right? So here we will be adding a filter. What is the filter? My filter is whether the customer has churned or not churned. The customer has churned. Click on apply OK. Now this is my new data. This is my churner gender data. Now you add it here. Now this is your churner data. So you have created one for overall customers and one for churners. Similarly, we will also do it for the customer count. I will right click, duplicate, customer count for churned customer count. Okay. So again, we will add filter. Yes, apply. Okay. So 1869 people have churned. Now I'll go to my churner customers and then add mine. Right. Now just imagine this way, somebody opens up your dashboard, he will be able to see, let me just redirect this to churn customers. Okay. Oh, this is something about churn analysis. What is customer churn? He will be able to find the customer detail information. He will go back to homepage, churner information, he will see the churner information. And this is basically a website flow, right? So obviously you can spend more time in creating a good visualization, not like this one, because visualizations does not happen in just 1 hour. So I'm just giving you some ideas on how to create. These are all about different visualizations. Now the best part is I'll anyways be sending this file to you. But apart from that, I'll also be showing you another file which is a HR project. Just give me a second, let me find it out. So this is one of my dashboards which we have created for Accelerate, but it's on public data, so nothing to worry about. We can also show you. You can see now you will think that, oh, this is a good job, right? Unlike this one which looks really boring. To create such dashboard, it took me more than 6-7 hours to finish it. So this is a HR and recruitment dashboard. I'll also go through this dashboard. Let's take a short break, 3 minutes, even I'm thirsty. I'll have some water quickly, I'll come back and then I will explain about this project as well. Okay. I'm just turning off my video. I'll be back exactly in 2 minutes.
Hello, everyone. It's me again. I'm Antonia, the admission manager in Accelerate. So if you guys have any questions during this time, you can also ask me about the course offering. I'm here to help. And also, at the meantime, if you guys don't mind, what about we surprise Seth later? Because if you guys don't mind, you can turn on your mic or the video, and then we can maybe give a big hand to Seth during these 5 days of teaching us. So anybody wanted to open their camera? Or just mic will be okay, and then we can just give a big hand. Oh, thank you, Matthew, who tried to switch on the mic. Or are you guys like having dinner right now? Actually, I am too. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Vicky. Thank you, Kay. Thank you.
Hi. I'm back. Sorry.
Hello, Seth.
Yeah. So
I was just talking with them about giving you a big hand. So thank you for taking your time to teach us. Yeah, you hear the little claps, right? I asked them to switch on the mic for you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. People who have joined the class, they might not know how hectic it was, but it was really hectic for me. I'm taking 2 classes on Python, this one, apart from that, other office work, other things, corporate work, so many things, but still. Now, before jumping into the next Tableau dashboard, I hope this slide has been already covered. I will not talk more about it, but this is where you can basically think about your next step. So, I know that many people have joined this for the Tableau part, and if you are serious enough for your next journey, I don't, I'm not suggesting you to join Accelerate or something like that. Whatever it is, you join Accelerate, you join something else, I don't mind. But if you have joined this Tableau program, I wish everybody is very serious about your next steps. So from here, your next steps has to be either to become a data analyst, to become a business analyst, or to become a data scientist, right? Data scientist has multiple roles as well: machine learning, data science, deep learning, computer vision, so many things. So if you are interested to learn and grow, we do have full-time courses as well. One of our courses, which is the mostly used course, is going to be our 16 weeks course. So apart from that, we also have another 6 weeks program. So I'll go to the next slide to talk more about those two types of programs. So one of them, as you can see, is a 16 weeks and one of them is a 6 weeks. So 6 weeks basically will be taught post office hours, maybe like the Tableau classes are going on. It will be post office hours, probably between 7 to 9 or something like that. So people who are already working in some companies, they don't have to quit their jobs. They basically attend after their office hours are done. But the only drawback with this kind of program is that it is very limited. It's going to be, the total lecture time is going to be 6 weeks, 6 into 2, 12 classes, 24 hours of classes. So 24 hours of classes where we'll be teaching about Python, we'll be teaching about machine learning and all these things. Data analytics is, however, not covered here. Okay, it is a pure Python, data scraping, and machine learning and little bit of NLP. This is a more detailed program, and just for the sake of COVID, as we all know, everybody is working from home. Situation is not great, so that is one of the reasons. And for this program, earlier days, people used to leave their jobs, come join our boot camps for 4 months, and they get guaranteed job. So most of my students, even finishing their course, before even finishing courses, they get jobs. So I'm not, boasting, but this is what the reality is. And by the end of the program, within 1 month max, there is at least 90 to 100% placement. People get jobs. They join as data analyst, business analyst with multiple packages ranging from 25 to 40. It depends, but this is the whole program. Here we teach a very extended program. It will be every day, and the beauty of this program is that you can still take it without quitting your job. The timings will be within your lunch hours. So probably from 12:30 to 2:30, or probably 12 to 1:30, or 12 to 2. We haven't decided the timings, but it will be based on what people suggest. Okay, so this is going to be a lunch hours kind of program. And yeah, this is, the original price is 49K, and the discounted price, because everybody is working from home, we are not getting the access to the campuses. So for remote learners, it's going to be 30,000. So if you're interested, serious enough, then try to jump in. If you're dead serious, I will definitely recommend this one, not this one. This is just for the basic guidance, but I will definitely recommend for the 16 weeks one. Okay, let me move on to the actual work. And yeah, in this program right now, we are also giving 3% donations to the current situation. Everybody knows about Ukraine-Russia situation, right? We're also donating 3% there. So if you are contributing in the courses, 3% of your course fees also goes to that donation. And these are all the companies where all our graduates basically have joined. Yeah, I mean, more about it, you can definitely take this PPT, or talk to Antonio or talk to Aka and get more details. You also have my email address. If you want to reach out to me, you can also reach out to me at this email ID. Simply, you can find me on LinkedIn by this name, and you can find me on YouTube also on this name. I also have a YouTube channel where I have 17,000 subscribers. Okay, let's not do the promotion here. So our second dashboard is HR and recruitment dashboard. Now I will show you how this dashboard is created. Okay, let me just show you the images first. I do have an end-to-end video for that. Just give me a second so that I can also find the video. I can give it to you so that you can go through it in your leisure time. Okay, 1 second. 1 second, 1 second. Yeah, this is the code. So this is the video. Okay, this is where I have talked about this project, and you can get everything here. You simply have to go to this link. I will also paste this link here. What you need to do is, if you don't have a GitHub account, you have to create. You can simply go to code and download it. Okay. However, people who are in GitHub, they know the pain of this downloading thing. We usually don't recommend people to download, because if people download, then they are not giving credibility to you. So we recommend people to fork, but I know that you might not be knowing more about GitHub. So for the time being, you can download it. So when you download, you will get the TWBX file, which is the Tableau file. However, you will not be able to open it, because this Tableau file has been created with MySQL database. But you will be able to get some information about it, like what is the background image that has been used, how it has been created. Let me just show you all these images. So this is my homepage image. This image also is created in Canva. Okay, and this is not the first time. This is not definitely the first. Basically, when you create a dashboard, when you create a background image, you cannot create immediately. It's an iterative process, right? You create, then somehow you don't like it, you recreate, then it is a iterative process. And finally, I got this final output, where on the left hand side you can see the title of it, some image, and here you can see there will be some information, right? Apart from that, the second page is something like this, where I'm also showing some detailed data. Different boxes are there, and in different boxes I'm showing different numbers. And there is another page like this where here also I'm showing some numbers, and some graphs here. Okay. And once you create these background images, you simply have to add these images as background and start creating this reports. You can see number of job titles 3,211, number of companies are this, and this is nothing but a simple count. Okay, if you go to this, it doesn't look anything because the text is basically white color. Okay, so it's not visible to you, but if you click on it, you will be able to see it. It is not visible because my background is a dark image, right? So my text has to be a lighter one. That is the reason I have used white here. So it is not visible here, but this is how it is. Similarly, you can see only three things. Others are not visible because others are hidden. Okay, if you want to unhide it, you can also unhide all the sheets. You can see in home page, I am using job title count and total company count. Once you create your dashboards, you can simply right click on your sheets and hide it. Okay, you go here and just hide it. Hide is not. So why it is not coming? Okay, I'll have to see. But you can easily hide it. I had hidden it. So now it is unhidden. So this is your home page. My second page is where I showed some visuals, right? Number of job titles, number of companies, number of industries, and some graphs. So data scientist has more job titles, and this is real data from Hong Kong market itself. The data is scraped from JobsDB, from multiple websites, and this is the real data. So this will probably motivate you to take your next steps. Data scientist, number of job titles in the last month, 2,490. Not last month, probably last 6 months. Data analyst 502 and business intelligence 137. Count of job titles, job type, and job title qualification. All these are different visualizations, and this is what all about summary statistics. Okay. Again, this is not a complete dashboard, but if you open my final dashboard, that will be a complete one. It is asking for username and password because I have used MySQL database as a connection for this particular dashboard. Okay, so you might not be able to open this dashboard, but I will try to create a other version of it and probably send it to you. But at least you are getting ideas, right? So this is how the dashboard looks like. Data science visuals. If you do an alt click, you go to data science visuals and home data science statistics. You can see total jobs. All these are different information. Again, go to home page and then UI UX statistics, and then again go to homepage, UI UX visuals. So this is how you create your dashboards. So now what you can do is you can take some time in understanding how to create dashboards. Then your immediate next step will be discussed tomorrow in the evening class. At the same time, I will be giving you a dashboard. I will be giving you a data set. I will need you to prepare a dashboard in 24 hours. So you need to create a good background and you need to create a good dashboard. That's going to be your end task for Sunday. Sunday there is no class because Sunday is the submission day where we will be getting all your assignments and then we will be giving you some feedbacks on your assignments, right? And tomorrow's class we will be talking about the assignment. What is your exact task which you are going to work? But don't wait for tomorrow's class. Start learning more about Tableau, how to work on different visualizations and all these things. So that is all about this class. I know that it's a short class, but I cannot help. This is how it is. So in case you have any questions, you can ask me. I'll keep the call open for next 2 to 3 minutes, and then we can wind up the call. Any questions? Okay, see you guys. Can we automate this dashboard? Yeah, we can. The next step is to automate the dashboard. See, the first step is always to use your flat files, Excel files or some other files. The next step is the automation part. Like after your flat files, our next step is to put the data into a database so that your dashboard can use the data directly from the database, and that will be automated. Okay. Okay, see you guys. Bye bye. Have a happy weekend. See you tomorrow. Make sure to join tomorrow if you finish the assignment. If you don't finish the assignment, you will not get the certificates. Okay, see you. Bye bye, guys.